So we are now in the month of November and I haven't filmed in a couple of months. So I figured we would do a good old fashioned haul today. I haven't done a haul in a while because I haven't filmed in a couple of months. So I have here 16 fragrances that I've picked up in the months that I haven't filmed, to include the month of October when it was my birthday. So I'm going to be sharing those with you. But before we get started, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and in this channel, we are focused on reviewing niche and designer fragrances, and we sprinkle it with a little bit of makeup and sometimes some fashion. If that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in, then please subscribe, like this video so that YouTube knows you like this type of content, and make sure to pause every so often and comment when you have something to say. Anyway, guys, let's jump right into it. Now, I will not be sharing all the notes of each fragrance. I will be telling you the notes that I pick up immediately and that are dominant from my use. None of these fragrances have been gifted to me via PR. I have purchased all of these fragrances with my money or have received them as a gift from family and friends during my birthday. I also want to let you know that none of these fragrances, with the exception of 2 of them, have been blind buys. I've actually had decants of these fragrances, so I had the opportunity to test them before taking the plunge. I'm trying to get better at avoiding blind buying. So the first fragrance that I want to talk to you guys about is the latest launch from Brunello Cucinelli. So as you know, Brunello Cucinelli is a luxury fashion brand, and they are primarily known for their exquisite cashmere sweaters, cashmere cardigans. They are wonderful at cashmere creations. So Brunello Cucinelli just launched 2 fragrances this year. One is Brunello Cucinelli Pour Femme and the other one Pour Homme. Of course, I picked up the Pour Femme. Now, this fragrance is a fragrance that I saw online at Saks Fifth Avenue for a couple of weeks, and I never, thought about picking it up. I knew who Brunello Cucinelli was, and I figured, you know what, this is probably their first fragrance, so I'm not going to endeavor into that. But then I went to visit Saks in New York. My husband and I went to New York, and we went to the Saks flagship store. And as soon as I walked in, my SA grabbed my hand and she said, "You have to try this fragrance. We just got it back in stock and I know you are going to love it." And the fragrance was Brunello Cucinelli Pour Femme. And honestly, guys, from the moment that I smelled this fragrance, it was truly, truly love at first sniff. So this fragrance has pink pepper, orange blossom, musk, and vetiver. It has other notes, but those are the notes that I primarily pick up. For me, it opens up with quite a bit of pink pepper, and then it goes into the orange blossom, and it ends with a combination of all and the most beautiful, beautiful musk. The good news is that I get great longevity, about 7 to 8 hours with this fragrance. The first 2 hours have a very good projection and very good sillage, and then around hour 3, it becomes more of a scent bubble, and towards the end of those hours, it's definitely more of a skin scent. But it is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. I have nothing like this in my collection, and I tell you, get your nose on it. The next fragrance that I want to talk about is one that I've been super excited to film a video and discuss, because it is the latest launch from Navitus Parfums, and obviously it is their collaboration with I the Great. Now, her first fragrance, guys, we know was absolutely incredible. Like, it is definitely one of my favorite gourmands. It is beast mode. The performance is unbelievable. The compliments are unbelievable. Your ability to layer it with other fragrances is also extremely, extremely unique. You can layer that with so many different fragrances and never go wrong. But let me tell you about this fragrance. So first of all, let's take a look at this beautiful bottle. It has a green juice and the beautiful cap as always. Now, this fragrance, oh my God, this fragrance has notes that are definitely pear forward. So we have baked pear, we have pear pulp. Oh my goodness. And then we have this like apple. To me, it's like a green apple and a tiny bit of like rum. But I know that when I wore this and I had it on my skin, at the base, I got a ton of like whipped cream and caramel and like pear. For me, this fragrance has pear from beginning to end. So it's not just that it opens with a very strong pear note. For me, it has pear all throughout the journey of the fragrance. Is it a linear fragrance? No. To me, this is a pretty complex fragrance, which is why I don't recommend that you blind buy it. I really think that you should try and get your nose on it, get a friend to send you a decant or something, unless you love the note of pear. I absolutely love the note of pear, but I can tell you when I first sprayed this fragrance, it just hit me woof with like a Jolly Rancher. You know that green apple Jolly Rancher? It smells exactly like that. Right now, when I just remove the cap and I just smell it, I get that Jolly Rancher, guys. But it's funny because once you spray it, that like Jolly Rancher, very strong pear type note of the opening goes away for me in about 3 to 5 minutes. And then I start to get like that apple coming in the background. And then slowly I start to pick up on a little bit of booziness. I would not call this a boozy fragrance like her first one, but I would definitely say that it has like a little bit of that boozy effect, which makes it even the more interesting. And then it hits with the whipped cream and the caramel. Absolutely beautiful fragrance. This is definitely one that I think is perfect for the fall and winter months. And I think you can even use it during the spring. And you may be able to layer it with other fragrances and make it an incredible summer fragrance. I wonder if I layer it with like a good coconut fragrance, what would it do? Because with her first fragrance, I've layered so many different things in it. They all work so well that I have a feeling that I am going to love layering with this one. Anyway, guys, this is an all year, day and night type fragrance. Give it a shot. Absolutely worth every penny. Definitely great. Navitus Amorous Intense in collaboration with I the Great. So the next fragrance that I've picked up is the most recent release from Dolce Gabbana, and it is Devotion. So this fragrance is absolutely incredible, guys. This fragrance has vanilla, orange blossom, and like candied lemons. But let me tell you what it smells like to me. Oh my goodness. So to me, this is like the most moist lemon pound cake glazed with like powdered sugar on top. It is just such a beautiful, oh my gosh, such a beautiful gourmand. I really can't get enough of it. And this is another one that you could probably layer with different things, because the other day, and I'm not going to tell you what I layered it with, but it was a floral fragrance and I layered it and it worked beautifully. The other thing about this fragrance is that it is a safe blind buy if you love gourmands. But if you are not a gourmand lover, this is one that you still want to get your nose on, because I find it hard to believe that someone really would not appreciate this fragrance. You may end up liking it, not loving it like I do, but I think you'll at least like it. But I still think you need to get your nose on it. If you love gourmands, get your nose on it and give it a shot. The one question about this fragrance is because of the notes, right? And because of the smell, even though it is so incredible. The question that I would ask you is, do you have another fragrance that smells and has these notes, that smells like this and has these notes? Because I can tell you that for me, when I first picked this up and I received it and I sprayed it, it did not remind me of Acro Bake, but there are similarities, right? There are definite similarities. For me, Acro Bake is more like like that lemon cookie, and it has a bit more vanilla than this one. The dominant note in Acro Bake for me is definitely that vanilla cookie, that lemon vanilla cookie. This one is just, I'm telling you, there's a butteriness to this fragrance that once you put it on your wrist, you just can't stop sniffing it. I just sprayed it here and I'm in heaven. It smells so delicious, but this is a true gourmand. This is perfect again for the fall and winter months, and definitely the beginning of spring. I don't think that this is something that I would use during the summer months, but hey, to each their own. Anyway, give it a shot. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you that I picked up during the past few months, and that I am absolutely, guys, all of these fragrances, let me just tell you right now, you can't go wrong in my opinion with any of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today. But this fragrance is at the very tippy top of all of the fragrances that I've picked up. There's a couple of fragrances here that just have me on a chokehold, and I just can't stop thinking about them, using them, thinking on how I'm going to layer them. It's just a delight to think that I'm going to go spray myself with them. And this next one is definitely at the top of that list. And this is Jean Paul Gaultier Divine. Let's take a moment to look at this beautiful bottle. And it doesn't have a cap. It has that similar, I think it's Montal, that has something similar where you pull this ring, and by pulling this ring, then you're able to just press down and spray the fragrance. Now, this fragrance, in addition to this fragrance, I picked up, guys, the body products for it, and I am loving them. So I picked up the shower gel, and I also picked up the lotion. And I could not find this fragrance in any of the US retailers when I picked it up about 3 weeks ago when it first came out. So I went into the Harrods website and I ordered from Harrods. Now, let me tell you, the other night, I took a shower, I took a bath, and then I took a shower using these bath products. And then I sprayed this fragrance on, so I layered. Oh my goodness, this became a beast mode fragrance. And guys, look at the dent. Because this is the type of fragrance that, although I'm telling you, I get beast mode from this fragrance, I just can't stop spraying it and smelling it. I am absolutely in love with it. There is, this is like a floral combination type of fragrance. There's jasmine, there's lily, there's patchouli, there's bergamot, and the base is a beautifully, beautifully done musk. It is very smooth, very sophisticated. I absolutely love this fragrance, and I highly recommend that you go and get your nose on it, unless you want to be daring and just pick it up. This is definitely a fragrance that I would use during the spring and summer, and definitely during the fall. And I would use it day or night. The next fragrance on my list is a fragrance that I've wanted for quite some time. And I read a ton of reviews. Some people, you know, this is a very polarizing fragrance, and some people love it and other people just hate it because of a specific note. But I absolutely love this fragrance, and most importantly, because of that note that people tend to hate. People complain about it having like a burnt marshmallow smell, but anyway, let's get to the fragrance. This is from Unai Luxury, and this is Mashumaro. Now guys, this is an extrait de parfum, and the notes here, oh my God. Guys, you know, this is why you really need to get your nose on fragrances, because fragrances are so subjective. There are so many people that really do not like this fragrance at all. And I can tell you that I really, really, really enjoy this fragrance. Like, I just absolutely love the smell of it. It is a beast mode for me all the way. This is not a faint of heart fragrance at all. This is a beast mode, and I get a good 7 to 8 hours. I get very good projection. I get moderate sillage. And do I think that this is a safe blind buy? This is not a safe blind buy at all. It has notes of marshmallow, incense, milk, vanilla, and then there's that trailing rose in the background. So let me tell you what I get from this fragrance. So the thing about this fragrance is that this is definitely a lactonic fragrance. So if you're not into notes of milk, don't even bother with this fragrance, because it is very present. It's not dominant, but that lactonic note is very present always in the background of what seems to be like a burnt, not burnt, but you know how you roast marshmallows, you know, I get like when the marshmallow is starting to change color, you get that very strong smell. That's what you get in here, and they did it beautifully. But in addition to that, there's incense added to that, which for me, in my opinion, it emphasizes that kind of burnt marshmallow scent that people tend to not like very much. Personally, this for me makes the fragrance very mysterious, very sexy, very appropriate for fall and winter and beginning of spring. Is this a fragrance that I would use during the summer? Never, ever, ever. In the middle of spring and forward, I would not use it until fall. This is definitely for me a cold weather fragrance, but it gives you a vibe. This is incredible with a pair of jeans, a sweater, and you spray this and you're in the fall and you're going out during the day or you're going out during the night. Is this a fragrance for date night? Believe it or not, I think that you could definitely use this on a date night and just look really, really sexy, a black outfit, and just this sprayed all on, and just everything else very minimal, just that mysterious type of feel with it. Anyway, get your nose on it. This is Mashumaro from Unai Luxury. The next fragrance that I've picked up is a fragrance that has been on my wish list for quite some time. And I had tried a couple of decants and I absolutely loved it. And this is one of my favorite fragrance houses ever. But for some reason, I just never picked up the fragrance. But this year I saw it and it was at a good deal. And I said, I'm going for it, because this is definitely a fragrance to have if you're a Xerjoff Casa Moradi lover. And this is none other than Italica. Now look at this beautiful bottle, guys. And I'm sure that you've seen this bottle in other reviews because so many people talk about this fragrance. Oh my goodness, guys. So this fragrance is truly for, in my opinion, for people that are truly into lactonic fragrances. There is a very dominant, well, I just told you in Mashumaro that there is a milk note, but that it's not super dominant. Here it is in your face. So if you're not into lactonic fragrances, please do not even bother with this one, because it will make you nauseous. I absolutely love that about it. It is so in your face. And then that almond just comes in, and then it has like this vanilla. It's like a bourbon vanilla in there. Oh my goodness. It is perfect for fall and winter and the very, very beginning of spring. I would not use this in the summer at all. And even if you live in a warm climate area and, you know, springs tend to be not too chill, like don't. I just don't think that this will work. I think this will probably make you feel a certain kind of way. So I would not do that. But otherwise, guys, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, this smell, if you are into that type of fragrance, you are going to be addicted to this fragrance, because when I spray this, I just can't stop spraying it. I have to be really careful. And I've only had it for about 2 months now, and I started using it when it wasn't super cold yet. It wasn't in the 30s here or in the 40s, and I just didn't care because I love it that much. I will tell you, just to compare it to something, the lactonic note here, I think that what emphasizes the lactonic note here is that almond note combined with the saffron. The saffron definitely has a strong presence, but the lactonic note is the leading, the domineering note paired with that almond. It's very much there. This to me is much more of a lactonic fragrance than Blanche Bette, much more of a lactonic fragrance than Ghost in the Shell from Mirabeau. Like, I really, really think that if you are interested in this fragrance and you don't have it already, because a whole bunch of people do, you need to get your nose on it. This is definitely not a safe blind buy at all, but it is incredible and I am here for it. I am loving it. Italica from Casa Murati. So the next fragrance that I've picked up is a fragrance that has also been on my wish list, I would say for about a year now. I had heard a couple of people talk about this fragrance and I've heard a lot of positive reviews. Very few people provided not negative reviews, but they were just not kind of feeling it. Well, I absolutely love this fragrance. This fragrance is very different. I do not recommend that you blind buy this at all because this is definitely not for everybody. So the fragrance that I'm speaking of is Dates Delight from House of Oud. And guys, let's take a moment to, as always, admire the artistic beauty of the bottles of the House of Oud fragrances. Such a beautiful, beautiful bottle. But this fragrance is not for everybody. So this is called Dates Delight. And I thought that when I first sprayed it, I was immediately going to be ravaged by like, dates right in my face. But that's not what I get immediately. What I get immediately is some cinnamon, followed by a little bit of dates. The first thing I get is cinnamon, strong. And then I get a little bit of dates, but like in the background, like very demure, very secretive, moving in the background of the cinnamon are the dates. And then, guys, at the dry down, I get the most beautiful mix of cinnamon, the little bit of the dates, the caramel and the vanilla, and oh my goodness, it is heaven. But I can tell you that journey's not going to be for everybody. And I can also tell you that even the dry down, you have to like a certain type of scent and you have to like these notes. The way that they've put these notes together, because I have other fragrances with similar notes or with the same notes and other notes added, and I don't get this in any part of the journey of those fragrances. So the way that they blended this fragrance makes it a very unique but exquisite fragrance in my opinion. Get your nose on it. This is definitely not a safe blind buy. And I say that you can use it during the fall and winter months, and you can use it during the day and during the night. Dates Delight from the House of Oud. So the next two fragrances are fragrances that one of them just came out in 2023 and I knew that I wanted it from the moment I first heard about it. I can't remember where I read an article. And then the other fragrance is one that has been on my wish list, guys. When I tell you for years, and when I tell you I've had at least, are you ready? At least 4 large decants of this fragrance and never picked up the bottle. And I don't know why. I picked up other bottles of the same, perfume house and the same line from this fragrance house, but never picked up this one. And this one is really known. But let's start with their most recent Tobacco Honey from Guerlain Le Métier d'Art collection. Guys, this fragrance, oh my goodness. No, I have to spray it whenever I get this fragrance going. This is so beautiful. This fragrance, first of all, you guys know that my favorite note is oud. Spoiler alert, I picked up the entire Kayali Oudgasm collection, all of it. It was not received in PR. It was not gifted to me by anybody. I paid it with my own money, and I will be filming a dedicated video because, guys, it's oud. And that's my number one favorite note, oud. So this fragrance, Tobacco Honey from Guerlain, has oud, vanilla, tonka, and of course, honey. Now, for me, when I spray it on my skin and my nose, I get that honey from beginning to end, but in different levels of intensity. When it opens, I get the honey, not too intense, not too light, but definitely there's a presence of the honey. And immediately, I get oud. I don't get the skanky oud, the barnyard oud. No, because Guerlain doesn't do that, right? We know that. I get a smooth, sophisticated oud that is just going to rock your world with sexiness. That's what I get, guys. I am this excited because that's how this fragrance, now that I sprayed it and I'm smelling it, that's what it does to me. It is like, oh my goodness, they really kicked this one out of the ballpark. And every fragrance that I've smelled from the Métier d'Art collection is just a masterpiece. But this one, oh my gosh. So you get that oud, and then as the journey continues, then the honey for me intensifies. It intensifies, and then it brings in the vanilla in the background. And for a certain time, it makes it sweet, quite sweet, not very sweet, not super sweet, sweet. And then I get some tonka in the mix. At the dry down, guys, I am in love and living my best life because what I am getting is that smooth oud sprinkled with that beautiful honey, that vanilla, and the tonka to ground it and cream it up. Okay, so the next fragrance is also from Guerlain, from the same collection, from the same line. But this time, this fragrance has been around for several years, and this is the one that I've had several decants of and never bought the bottle, but this year I decided to just pick it up. And this is none other than, guys, Angelique Noir. Now, not only appreciate the bottle, but do you see that I had it engraved with ArahiWorld? I don't have any other fragrance in my collection that has Angelica. Not to mention, when I have smelled fragrances with Angelica, nobody has been able to master the beauty of how they balanced that note with the other notes present in this fragrance. Let me tell you. This is Angelica with a beautiful pear. The vanilla is present. There is such a beautiful mix here. When I first spray this, I get that Angelica. Oh my God. It is a dominant note through and through. And then for me, it is followed by that little bit of pear and then mixed with pink pepper, which brings a little bit of spiciness into the mix. But then when they hit me with that vanilla, guys, oh my goodness, it's a wrap. This fragrance, I honestly, I just can't believe that I waited this long to pick up this fragrance. And now I'm going to be very careful because I've only used it a couple of times and you can already see I'm starting to make a dent. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that is Angelique Noir. Get your nose on it. This is a fragrance that you can definitely use during the fall, winter, and early spring. I don't know if I would use this during the summer because that Angelica note is pretty strong. I don't think that this is for me a summer fragrance at all, but hey, to each their own. I also think that if you've never had or if you've never tried a fragrance with Angelica as a dominant note, this is not a safe blind buy, no matter how incredible this is, which it is. And I'd be surprised if you don't like it. But I really think that that note alone warrants you being cautious and getting your nose on it before paying that kind of money. Anyway, guys, Angelique Noir from Guerlain. Get your nose on it. So the next fragrance that I want to talk about, I also have a story to tell you about this fragrance. So this is the latest release. Let me just start telling you which fragrance it is. So this is the latest release from Dior. And this is Dior Jodor L. So if I remember correctly, there's the original Jodor Dior, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. And then there were a couple of other flankers throughout the years, and now they have this one. And every time they launch a flanker, I'm like, not doing it, not even trying it, not even testing it. But this year, I think it was at Ulta, and I was just sniffing around. I didn't have anything better to do, and I was just sniffing around and telling myself, I'm not gonna like this. Let me just try it. I'm not gonna like that. Let me just try it. I'm not gonna like that. Let me just try. Guys, if you don't want to pick this up, don't sniff it. Don't try it. Don't try it. But let me tell you my story with this. Oh my goodness. So this fragrance is a flanker of the very known Jodor from Dior that has been around for quite some time. My mom loved the Jodor fragrance, like the original. Like, she really loved it. That and Chanel No. 5, man, those two, she had many fragrances, but those two were like her thing. So for me, like, I love my mom, it's okay, but I just don't want to smell like my mom. And that fragrance, for me, it's like, if I smell that fragrance, that belongs to my mom. You know, when someone uses a fragrance so much that you're just like, that's their fragrance, I'm not going to touch that, right? So I never ever picked up Jodor, the original, never sprayed it on myself, never considered any of the flankers, guys, until I smelled this one. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, let me just start by saying this does have some of the DNA of the original, but when I tell you this is, oh my goodness, incredible, I'm falling short of finding the words to describe. Guys, this has jasmine done in such a beautiful way. This has violet. This has lily of the valley. This has orange blossom. This is a fragrance that you can use all year, day and night. You can dress it up. You can dress it down. This is exquisite. And then, guys, look at this bottle. So the Jodor bottle has always had this shape, but for every flanker, they try to do something different. But this one, honestly, is my favorite of all. There's another one. There's a flanker that came out that has like, you know, like a grid of gold lines. No, this one is sleek. It's beautiful. When you touch it, it's so perfect. And when I wear this fragrance, I just feel a certain kind of way. I have to tell you, this fragrance is absolutely sexy. It is absolutely empowering. You just feel happy to be woman. That's this fragrance right here. Like, this is not, and I will be honest with you, this is not a boss fragrance. This is not a boss lady fragrance to me. No, this is the woman, or for the day when you're feeling happy to be woman and to exude your sensuality. And it's in the way you walk, in the way you strut, just gently and smoothly and slowly. That's this fragrance. That's this fragrance. Like, I am telling you, when I smell this, it's on. So get your nose on it. I don't tell you that this is a safe blind buy because, guys, there's so many different flowers here, and there's people that really do not like violet, because violet is not just any type of floral note, and even lily of the valley. So you know what, get your nose on it just to make sure that this is something that you really want to add to your collection and that you do want to smell like it. But I tell you, I'm in love, absolutely in love. Okay, so the next two fragrances, I'm super excited about them because these fragrances have been on my wish list for quite some time. I finally decided to pick them up, and I'm going to talk about both of them at the same time because it only makes sense. So these are both from Jo Malone, and they are Ginger Biscuit and Myrrh and Tonka. Now, I've known about these fragrances for a while. I've heard people talk about them. I've had samples, not full-on decants, but I've had like little samples that I've been given, and I've been like, oh, that's so cute, because I go to this store quite frequently. Like, my favorite from Jo Malone is the Freesia one, and I just never decided to just do it and get them, but this time I did. So let me tell you, let's talk first about Ginger Biscuit, because there's a lot of talk going around about Ginger Biscuit. So Ginger Biscuit is basically, for me, guys, it's ginger, caramel, vanilla, and hazelnut. And I get those four clear. Like, I get the ginger. When I first spray it, I get the ginger immediately, and I get it with some caramel. And then later I get some vanilla, and at the end, I can now smell the hazelnut. That's my journey with this fragrance. But this is the perfect fragrance, guys, for the fall. If you're sitting in front of the fireplace and you're just having, you know, like a cozy night, this is perfect. And the next one that I'm going to share with you, oh my gosh, even more. But this is perfect. If you're putting on some jeans, a t-shirt and whatever, some sneakers or whatever, and a coat, a light coat, and you're going to go get a Christmas tree, this is the perfect fragrance. This is the perfect fragrance for me for the holiday season. There's something about this smell. And the other thing that I get with this fragrance is this would be considered a gourmand fragrance, but to me, it's not full blast gourmand, because I have gourmands in my collection that you truly will smell like food. Well, this is not one of them. This is just, even though it's a gourmand, that there's like a balance to it. It's just done beautifully, guys. So it's definitely worth it. Get your nose on it. Just go to Joe Malone, smell it, and then you'll pick it up. I'm sure you will. This one, guys. Okay, myrrh and tonka. So obviously, the top notes are going to be myrrh and tonka. And I do get the myrrh and tonka almost immediately. I get the myrrh immediately, like in my face, and then the tonka comes in. And at the base is when I get the vanilla. But let me tell you who, for me, the star of the show is in this fragrance. Who makes this fragrance blow your mind? It's that lavender. Did you hear me? It's that lavender. It's the way they did that lavender. How do you mix lavender and make it smell better than what lavender smells? That's my opinion, guys. Like, it's not that I hate lavender. I love lavender. I love lavender when I take a bath. I have maybe 2 other fragrances in my collection that have a note of lavender, but it's not dominant, predominant, forward. Here, oh, I get the lavender, and I am loving that I get the lavender to the degree that I get it, which is like a rarity for me. Beautifully done. This fragrance is so worth it. Now, myrrh. Guys, I'm sorry, but I love myrrh. I love the note of myrrh. It is so beautiful when done right. I have a fragrance from Tom Ford, myrrh something. I can't remember. I think it actually came out this year. I think it will be in a video that I will be filming with all of my 2023 launches, all of the fragrances from 2023 that I've picked up throughout the year. I'm going to do a video. It's going to be like an hour video, but hey, just get yourself a snack and sit down and enjoy it. I think I'm going to have that Tom Ford fragrance, but this myrrh, in my opinion, is done even better than that myrrh fragrance from Tom Ford. And I love Tom Ford. I don't care what anybody says. I understand some people don't like him anymore. Some people think it's overrated, overpriced, whatever. I love Tom Ford. But this right here beat that Tom Ford myrrh fragrance, in my opinion. This is a fragrance you need to go smell and pick it up. And you can thank me later. Like, I could just sit here and smell this all day, every day. Like, what does she do? She smells myrrh and tonka all day. That would be me. But anyway, guys, all kidding aside, this is a fall and winter fragrance for me. Maybe the beginning of spring, but this is predominantly a fall and winter fragrance, and it is definitely a day and night. I can make this look sexy depending on what you wear, how you carry it. I can make it casual, but it is such a versatile and beautifully done fragrance. And the good news is that we all know Joe Malone doesn't perform very well for the most part, but this one, oh, I get great performance from this one. I get 6 to 8 hours easy from this one without having to respray. And I get a moderate projection and I get a slight sillage. But the fact that it creates that scent bubble around me that you can smell it for hours, I'm happy. I am just in my zone with this one. Absolutely love it. Anyway, try those 2 fragrances. They're both so worth it. But that myrrh tonka, oh my gosh, I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, guys. So now we're going to a fragrance that has been on my list for quite some time, from a fragrance house that I absolutely love. This is Adonis Awakens. You know, a little decant, a little 5 ml decant, or little samples that they give you don't make justice to some of these fragrances. Because now that I have this bottle, let me tell you, sometimes I just go into my fragrance room and I just smell this. Because this is very addictive, guys. This is so addictive. So let me tell you, this has rose, raspberry, A very well done raspberry. I think raspberry is one of the hardest notes to get into a fragrance, that to not smell like fake and synthetic. This one, oh no, this is like a fresh raspberry to me. And then we have vanilla and sandalwood. Now, dominant for me here is not necessarily the vanilla. I do get the vanilla, but it's not dominant. What's dominant here is that raspberry and the sandalwood. Oh my goodness, I get that so clear. I get it when I smell it. I get it on my skin. But I love this fragrance. And then the rose is always like lurking in the background. The rose is always present, but like in the background. It's not front and center. But this fragrance is absolutely worth it. Get your nose on it. This is definitely a fragrance that you can use all year. So the next fragrance on my list is one that I've had on my list for quite some time. Whispers of Truth, House of Sillage. This immediately for me is orange. And then you get a little bit of that rose, and then there's like some caramel in here, and at the base, let me tell you, the most beautiful musk. I know people have a love-hate relationship with musk because musk is one of those notes that it depends on how it's done, right? But I will tell you, I have several fragrances from House of Sillage that have that musk base, and I think that they do a very, very impressive job. This is absolutely beautiful. I am so sorry that I didn't pick up this fragrance earlier. And so this next fragrance is a fragrance that's been on my list for years. And this is another fragrance that not only did I get samples many times and use the samples, but I also had multiple decants. At one point, I'm pretty sure I had like a 10 ml or something like that. It was like a large decant. And I used it, and I told myself, I'm gonna put this on my wish list, and I did, but then I never took the plunge and purchased the fragrance, but now I did. So the fragrance that I'm talking about is none other than Safanad from Parfums de Marly. And of course, we all know this beautiful bottle. Oh my gosh, these bottles from Parfums de Marly, oh my goodness. And guys, I just picked up the fragrance, and I'm filming this video, and I'm looking here in the light. There's already a dent. Like, I need to calm down with this fragrance. Guys, I love this fragrance. Like, I love Parfums de Marly, and I have quite a number of them, and we'll do a video someday on that, I guess. But what I love about Safanad is it's such a rare combination of a couple of notes. So I'm sure you guys know by now that I do love the note of iris also, because I had a dedicated video for I can't remember what fragrance, and it's all iris. And whenever I talk to you about a fragrance that has iris, I go like crazy, right? I like the powderiness of the iris. I like the entire effect of iris and orris root, by the way. This fragrance combines two notes that I would have never in a million years thought were possible to combine and be successful at. But of course, Parfum de Marly has done it. And that is the note of pear with iris. Pear, iris, sandalwood in an amber fragrance. Oh my goodness, like, who does that? Parfums de Marly. And they did it, and they did it very, very well. Anyway, get your nose on it. I don't think this is a safe blind buy. When it comes to the note of iris, I never recommend that you blind buy, because iris is a very peculiar note and not everybody likes it. But if you do, you're going to love this. Anyway, Safanad from Parfums de Marly. All right, so the next fragrance is from a designer, and this is a launch from 2023. Christian Louboutin Lubimar. So here is the bottle, and you can see I also had it engraved with AW, and because it's beveled here, I didn't have them write ArahiWorld. I just have them put AW. What I love about this fragrance, guys, is that I love the note of tuberose. And before this fragrance coming into my life, my favorite tuberose fragrance, and I have many, was Love Tuberose from Amouage, because that fragrance, guys, is on point. When I tell you, if you love tuberose and you have not tried Love Tuberose and picked it up, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but please get your nose on it. In the meantime, here they come and launch this tuberose forward, because what I get in this fragrance when I spray it, as soon as I spray it, oh my goodness, I have to spray this. This is so, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, guys, that tuberose is done so right. So tuberose to me is one of those notes that if you don't do it right, it can be overwhelming, it can be overpowering, it can just take over for all the other notes. You know, it doesn't like play well with others if it's not done right. But in this fragrance, it plays to perfection. So you have the tuberose, and then it's paired with, are you ready? Lemon. And the way that it blends. And then to top it all off, the base of the fragrance is musk. And you know, musk is not like super overpowering or anything like that unless you make it really animalic, and then you don't want that fragrance. This is too much, right? But this is done, when I tell you exquisitely, it's done exquisitely. Get your nose on it. If you are a tuberose lover, if you're not a tuberose lover, you're not going to like this fragrance. This is very, like, I'm sitting here and I just sprayed it and I keep getting that whiff of just tuberose. It's like tuberose all over, all over, all over. So the tuberose is done beautifully. This is definitely a spring, summer, and beginning of fall type of fragrance. I can tell you that I will probably use this fragrance one more week and then put it away until spring. This, because of that lemon there, and there's all, I don't know all the notes of the fragrance. Like I can't memorize all the notes. I can just speak to the ones that pull me in as soon as I smell it or spray it. But I can tell you from smelling, I sprayed and I'm smelling now, there is an aquatic note in here. Whether they have disclaimed it and it's listed on their website and Fragrantica, etc., or not, trust me, there's an aquatic note in here. That alone, and it's like a salty aquatic note, which makes the fragrance even more interesting for me. Like, my nose is just loving this. But with that being said, this is not a fragrance that I would pull out during real cold, like mid-fall, end of fall, winter. No, not this fragrance. But spring, oh my goodness. Summer nights, summer day may be a bit much because the tuberose, depending on how it reacts to your skin, it can be a bit much. Anyway, guys, give this a shot if you're into tuberose and you want something different and exquisitely blended and done. This has incredible projection. This is not a beast. The first couple of hours you will get incredible projection, and then it calms down and it becomes like a scent bubble. For me, it's not a skin scent. It's more like a bubble type of thing. And the sillage is moderate. It's moderate, which is fine, because again, tuberose can be really out there. Like when I use that Love Tuberose from Amouage, I have to be careful because it's a powerhouse and I will just suffocate everybody in the room and around me. So you just want to be careful. But get your nose on this fragrance. Again, Lubimar, you will absolutely love it. So we have covered all of the fragrances, but there's two more products that I want to share with you that I did just recently haul. And these came in today, so I figured, you know what, let me just throw them in the video. So I have never talked in my channel about body mists, right? But I just picked up the 3 latest releases from Flur. I picked these two, which are Amber Haze and Mango Mood. I picked them up during the Sephora VIB sale that just ended. And there's another one called Vanilla Something, and it had sold out. So I ordered it from Kohl's and I'm waiting for the order to come in. These smell so good, guys. So, so good. These are really, really well done. This is not the kind of body mist that you're going to spray and it's just going to disappear in 1 minute. So guys, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. Get your nose on it. I think you will love them. Anyway, guys, we've come to the end of today's video. And I want to thank you so much for sticking with me. Please leave your comments below on which of these fragrances, if any, have you tried, and your thought. If you haven't picked up any of these or tried them, like, what's your thought? Just from what you've heard me say and others, like, what are you thinking? Are you going to pick them up or not? I will leave everything in the description box below, linked, of course. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I will definitely gladly answer them for you. I will see you very soon in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.